Hi everybody, welcome to the Year of Flavor, the Flavor Adventure with the Lawrenceburg Public Library and myself, Carisa Button. We're here today with the Flavor Adventure for the month of November, and what we've chosen for that is smoked salt. So I think it'll go really well with the sage from October and just the seasonal cooking and a lot of brining and things of that nature. And then since we talk about the flavor adventure, we kind of forget about salt, but salt is the ultimate flavor enhancer. So it's pretty much quintessential in almost all recipes. I was making a cranberry sauce at the kitchen and I had the chefs taste it, official chefs, and they all liked it, but their one comment was to add salt to the recipe, which I didn't. And then when I did, just a tablespoon for a huge vat of it, it did bring all the flavors and enhance the texture of it. So it's oftentimes overlooked and a little goes a long way, but without salt, you really can't get the flavors of the other things that we're going for. So these are the things that salt is scientifically proven to do when you're chefing or cooking in the kitchen. It concentrates flavor, so it makes it more strong and intense. It releases molecules that actually improve the aroma of food. It kind of bruises and breaks the food up so the aromas are able to escape and make them smell better. It enhances the umami flavor, it balances sweetness, and it also suppresses bitterness. So if you have a recipe that kind of seems bitter, even little teas in our herbal blends that we do sometimes, lots of times the tiniest little pinch, I mean literally like less than 1/4 of a teaspoon, into a tea blend will suppress and kind of cut that bitterness and allow the true flavors to come out. The other thing that salt does that's not necessarily flavor but very important in cooking and in the kitchen is it improves the overall texture of pretty much almost all full foods. And then the other thing we know it does, and that's been since ancient times in the Bible, right, and that's why salt was so revered and important, is it preserves food. So on large scales, like where you would have to preserve meat or flanks of things that would go bad very quickly, all the way to today, it's added in even just our simple canned goods like our canning green beans and things of that nature to preserve their shelf life and make them last longer. So just a fun little fact is a lot of us have heard the saying, worth your weight in salt, or he's the salt of the earth, and that's meant as like a compliment that somebody's really important or valuable, or that the person that you're talking about is kind of like down to earth and a hard worker and like a contributor to society. Well, that's because salt historically has been such a high valued commodity and so important for preservation and just overall cooking and flavors that it's considered essential. And when you worked in the salt mines back in the Roman days, it wasn't considered a low-ranking job. It was a job held in very high esteem. So to make and mine the salt and bring it up to the people to use for their cooking and daily lives was really revered. And that's where the Latin word salary comes from, to be paid for, is because the salariums in the salt mines, you used to get paid a salary, and that would be from mining salt, and lots of times the workers would take home salt as kind of like bonuses that their families were allowed to have. So overall, salt is something that's really important with overall ultimate flavor enhancer. You really can't cook or have it without it. Like I said just a few weeks ago in the commercial kitchen, I made a recipe without it, and that was the one missing thing. We added it, and it literally did all of these things that I listed here. The salts that are in your kit are really premium. I just opened them today from Frontier Natural Food Co-op. They're all kosher food grade. They don't supply iodine because they're a natural sea salt, and they haven't been enhanced. So that's just something to know. You have an alder smoked salt, and it's coarse grind, and it's really, really dark. I have them already wrapped up for Denise to give out to you, bubble wrap, so they'll stay nice, so I didn't open them both. But they're both in these jars, and they're just simply marked on the side with a Sharpie. And then you also have applewood smoked salt, and it's a fine grind, and it's a lot lighter in color. So when you put them side by side, the alder wood almost looks black. And then you'll notice the coarseness, the grains of the salt are much bigger. They're really, really strong and smoky flavor. The minute you open them, you're going to be able to smell them. And then obviously the alder smoked wood salt was smoked with alder wood, not to be a smart aleck, but just to clarify. Then the applewood smoked salt was smoked with applewood. And so you could do this with your own woods too, like walnut or oak or applewood, fruit wood, if you wanted to add the chips to your grill, like you buy like the hickory smoked chips. It's basically the same idea. So these would be excellent for brining, adding a little bit to deviled eggs, fine grinding, and maybe doing like a dusting with something that you want to bring out a savory or an umami flavor. Indefinite shelf life salt pretty much never goes bad, so just tuck these away in your spice cabinet and have them to go to when you need. So in conclusion, for the flavor adventure with the Lawrenceburg Public Library and you, thanks for expressing interest in checking out your kits. The month of November we did smoked salt. Everybody will take home an ounce of alder smoked salt, coarse grind, and applewood smoked salt, fine grind, in little culinary jars. And December is going to be chamomile, which is really good for indigestion. It's got a good flavor, but it helps settle overeating and kind of indulgent times of the year. So that's what we're going to do next for December. Thanks a lot.